Hey, everybody. It's Tanya Smith here with Stream Like a Boss TV and GetNoticedWithVideo.com. So, look, I am super excited that I get a chance to be here with you on a Tuesday evening, and I'm doing something a little different because you know me, you know your girl. I like to try things out. So, I'm going to actually do something that honestly is a little bit scary. Scary for me, maybe not for you, but it's in response to a couple of my dear friends, one of which I already saw inside of the comments. Yes, sir, Dan. Dan and Scott actually asked me, and Scott has been asking me about this for a while. And thank you. Thank you. What's up, Michelle? JP said, you got this. Okay, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do so that you all know what's coming. So, I'm going to actually do an exclusive peek behind the scenes of my video studio. And I actually recorded this in advance. I'm a very private person. Can I say that? I am very much an introvert. What's up, Gabe? I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I know. And so Dan wanted to know what everything does that's on my desk. I shared a picture on Saturday of my working arrangement around my desk. And I was actually in the throes of recording a lesson or several lessons for a course that I'm creating called Live Stream to Leads. And so he was one of several people because JP has asked, Scott Benedict has asked, Michelle has asked, a lot of people have asked, what is going on behind the scenes? Like, what's your studio setup? And I am one of those people who is honestly, like I said, very private. I'm the girl who is not super hospitable, so I don't invite people to my home necessarily for parties and things like that. I go to other people's house and then I come home so I can sleep. So I am going to go ahead and put you on alert that I've pre-recorded a 17-minute video that you and I are going to watch together. So I'm going to share that with you. And I'm actually using Restream to do this because some of you guaranteed are going to ask, hey, where do I find that piece of gear or equipment? So I did make a list. And in Restream, I'm actually able to, I know, right? I'm actually able to share QR codes. So I can share with you the links directly into the Amazon store. I actually have an Amazon store that has a lot of this gear on the list. So I'm going to try to do all the things using Restream this evening. If it is an epic fail, then we will figure this out and go back to our wonderful and amazing use of Ecamm Live, right? But I'm testing out Restream for a number of reasons. As some of you know, I love to actually do run-throughs of other streaming platforms so that I don't miss out and forget about them. I want to be able to answer your questions as those things come up. So, okay, Dan is going to have a question that I'll cover after we watch the video, but I do like this question. One of the biggest questions is what's the difference between the Streamdeck and the Rodecaster? So I'll do my best to answer that question for you. I can tell you how I use them differently. And I know there are other people who are experts and pros in this chat that will also weigh in. So if y'all are ready, I'm going to share my walkthrough and after the 17-minute video walkthrough that you're going to see, then if you've got questions on anything that I'm showing, don't hesitate to ask because I'm going to stay around. I'm sticking around so I can answer your questions. All right. Okay. So I'm going to show the behind the scenes, as someone says, making of the sausage. I don't know. I've heard that before. I don't know if it fit or not. Okay. Taking a deep breath. I'm going to show it and then we'll see what you think on the other side. Okay. All right. Hey friends, it's Tanya here. So I was asked to do a walkthrough of my studio, and so I'm going to do an entire overview for the next few minutes to just kind of walk you through where I came from and where I am now. So the first few pictures you'll see in this video actually show you the transition that took place over the last year or so from where I first started out in our home in an office with a bunch of stuff everywhere to where I am now in our family room upstairs. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Okay, welcome to my workspace. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a tour so that you get a feel for how everything is laid out. I've been promising to do this for some time and I just kept putting it off because I knew it would take some thought and work and it just was low priority. But I'm doing this for my friend Dan and also for Scott, who have been asking me to kind of reveal some of the different things that I'm using in my workspace. So, you ready? Let's take a little bit of a tour. Okay, so this is where I sit just about every day and do video content creation. And in a minute, I'm gonna reposition this so that you'll have a really good view of how everything here looks. All right, let's do that next. All right, so I positioned this at a different angle so that you can kind of get a feel for the actual set, my control room, if you want to call it that. So let's do this. I'm going to just kind of showcase what I'm doing. What I have here, I've got a couple of different monitors, so really three. One big one right here, which is my iMac computer system. This is what I use to do almost everything. Then I have a second one that's over here. This one is my HP, and I use this primarily for doing screen sharing. And the other one, I use that for other types of work. So I've got the three total. I have you can see this RGB keyboard right here, which usually is pretty lit up. You barely see it really. I use this because I like the clunky typewriter sounds. I like the keyboard sounds that I can actually hear. I'm kind of one of those ASMR type people. So I love the sound of it, but I also have a more silent version sitting right here, my normal smart keyboard that I use that came with the iMac, right? I do like this one. It's really soft and I want to know that I'm clicking the button, right? So I want to know that, hey, I hit the A. Okay, let's see. I used to have this handy dandy lava lamp sitting on my desk over here. You can kind of see it right here. But I didn't like it so much because it actually gave off really bright vibes when I turned it on. Plus it was super heavy, and if I just swipe the wrong way, I end up knocking that thing over. The lava lamp and all my other little accessories that I have over here were really designed to try to help me to create a warm and friendly space. So I wanted everything to be branded with the pink that I used. I've adapted my colors, my brand colors over the years, but I really feel like where I am right now is home. It feels comfortable, it feels warm, and it feels right for me. So just about everything I have is like, including this little sign here that says love, is representing my brand, what I'm all about. And as much as I can, I try to find little things that will speak to that. So I've just collected things over the past couple of years, and even before that, that I felt would make the space a little bit more like home, so that when I sit down at the camera to do a video shoot or to record, I am in my most comfortable zone. Okay, a couple other things that you need to see. Come on over here and we'll get a little bit closer with the Rodecaster Pro, and I'll explain a few of those things. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to use this Pivo. I haven't used one before. I'm taking the one that my daughter says she doesn't need anymore, and I'm using it. So here's what I will do is, I'm gonna try to walk you through what's on my desk, because I think that was of most interest to you. So, starting with the microphone. The mic that I use right now is a Shure MV7B. No, it's a Shure MV7X. And the reason why I use this one is because it was a little less pricey than the MV7B, I think is the one. And I have wrapped it. I don't know if you can really see the wrap that well here. I've wrapped it to make it a little bit more pink because it shows up nicely inside of the videos that I do, like in my scene. I bought the wrap from KO Creations. It took a long time to get here because it's overseas, but there's lots of different colors that you can use and put onto your Shure mic. You just need to find the right one. So that's my mic. This one actually is probably my favorite mic compared to a lot of the other ones that I've purchased. I've had all of them. I've got a Rode that's sitting over there somewhere. I have a pod mic. I've had the Blue Yeti. I've had the Snowball, the Blue Snowball. I've had the ATR 2100. This one so far is my favorite mic. It has really great sound quality, enhanced by my Rodecaster Pro, which I'll show you in a second. But if I were to take you over here to my desk space, so this is my Streamdeck, and it's actually been wrapped. My Streamdeck is a great way to actually control the different scenes as I'm going from scene to scene inside of my Ecamm Live. So when I do my Ecamm Live shows on Thursdays, then I am using these buttons, not as proficiently as I like, but I have programmed the scenes so that they switch each and every time I'm ready to switch a scene. And a scene, when I say that, I mean, let's say I'm going from my intro video, right? So I'm going from my intro video clip to introducing if I have a guest, and then I'm switching over to a commercial clip, and then I'm switching over to my guest. I can use this little Streamdeck to just click buttons and it will take me through each of those scenes. You can use it for other purposes too if you have a Streamdeck, and I just have the 15 key, which you may be able to see pretty good right there. I have the 15 key, which is sufficient, and I have it wrapped, of course, because I like the branding. I like the color and the pop and the warmth in my space that I'm creating. I was gonna say you can actually use it to turn your lights on and off. You can use it to turn on sound effects. You can use it for a number of different things. And the queen of Streamdeck setup is India Delgado, so she helped me to get my Streamdeck set up. Now the other thing I'll show you is, and we'll just kind of move from this way on around. The other thing I'll show you is my Rodecaster. So here's the Rodecaster Pro, this big boy right here. And we may need to adjust the screen so that you can really kind of get a feel for it, but let me show you that. So here's my Rodecaster. I didn't feel like I needed to be in this scene for this. The Rodecaster Pro is, actually this is version 2 of the Rodecaster Pro. It's pretty slick. What it allows us to do is to create a soundboard. So I've created a soundboard for my show, Stream Like a Boss TV, that has different sound effects. I also hooked it up so that it is connected to different types of audio sources. So my microphone itself, the system, meaning the computer system, right? And then Zoom, because there's a different way that I want my Zoom sound set up, Ecamm Live, and then also if I have Bluetooth devices like my phone and I wanted to feed, for instance, Clubhouse, if I were doing that, I could feed in my sound through this Rodecaster switchboard So there's lots and lots of different ways that you can actually use this, and this is not really a tutorial because I still am not great at using it, honestly. I'm not using it to the max, but there's lots and lots of different ways to use it. So I actually took a course, or I'm taking a course by a guy at Take One Tech, and I'll share the link if you need that. Here's another close-up shot of my actual Streamdeck, so you can kind of get a feel for what that looks like. That's the Streamdeck, and see I have different buttons that are set up. Now, because I am, let me see if I can actually get it to show the scene. If I'm in the right scene, it should show the actual images or photos. Yeah, so as I move through each of these, you'll now be able to see, right? So these buttons are programmed according to each of the scenes that I have set up. So for my show, I have about, I don't know, 13 or 14 buttons right now, or scenes that I can flip through. And so all of those are programmed here inside of this Stream Deck. And if I want to switch it to a different type of show, I can do that. So I'll switch it to a guest interview show, and that's a whole different scene. But you can kind of see what that looks like here, right? It's just mimicking the different scenes that are over here. Instead of me having to use a mouse or to click on any of these individual scenes to switch them. See how that goes? All right, video. I can actually use the Stream Deck to do that. So that's what I'm doing behind the scenes when I'm actually hosting my live stream show, is I'm using a combination of Ecamm Live, this Stream Deck, this Rodecaster Pro 2, and then my microphone, the Shure MV7X, which is an XLR mic, and so it's connected to the back of this Rodecaster Pro with an XLR cable right there. I also have this handy dandy lengthy set of earbuds, because I don't really like to have big old earphones on my ears. So these earbuds are clear and transparent, and they fit behind my ears, and they're almost invisible on the camera when you see me actually doing my lives. Now this little baby right here is one of my favorites. It's my favorite purchase, I think, that I've had, because I had a lot of lights. I used to use a ring light like this, right? A lot of people have this. So you turn it on, it has the different temperatures, but it wasn't my favorite. It just didn't give me exactly what I was looking for as far as professional look and quality. But this SmallRig globe or lantern softbox is super fun, and you can adjust the temperature. There's a bunch of little knobs and switches up here. You can adjust the temperature. You can, it gives you like a nice soft diffused glow. That's what I love about that. So that's my light. I also have a key light over here, and I actually had a set of 2 of these key lights, but they weren't my favorite because they're super bright, and because I didn't get like the super most expensive version, they do not have dimmable capability. So if you are gonna buy key lights, like the Elgato key lights, you wanna make sure that they're dim capable. Now I have a second one I'll show you right here, because if I am doing a product demo, which I plan on doing more of those at some point, then I can use this and just put my product on the table and have lighting prepared. All of this is controlled by either my mobile phone on an app, or you can set up your Stream Deck to control these lights, which is pretty cool. Okay, let me finish over here. So this is a Sony A6400 camera. It is a webcam for my purposes. So I keep it constantly connected right here into my iMac, in the back of my iMac right in here, okay? And the reason for that is it's connected by a Camlink, and Camlink, if you can see this, Camlink needs to be connected directly to the back of an M1 computer. I tried using my CalDigit hub, which is under here. You can't see it. Let's see if you can see it. That's my CalDigit hub. I need a bigger one, but this is a TS3 hub. Let's see if we can pull it out without pulling out wires. You can kind of get a feel for what it looks like right there, okay? But I need more plugs. I do. Everything is full. I use this as my primary camera. I also have a little Lumina webcam that you can see right here. So this Lumina is kind of my backup camera. I just use that for Zoom calls if I don't want to like wear out my Sony. And by the way, the Sony it's the Sony A6400, but with a Sigma lens, because the Sigma lens is really like airtight. Like it gives you a really nice quality with the blurred background and all that stuff. So the depth of field is super nice. I didn't use my regular Sony lens that might have come with the camera. I bought one. Okay, yeah, this is an iPad if you're wondering. This is an iPad, and the reason why I have this set up is because it's acting as a teleprompter. Let me try to get my hand out of there. I'll show you on the other side. Hold on. I have an actual teleprompter, but I didn't want to use that because it's big and bulky. I can kind of show you what it looks like. It fits over the top of this Sony A6400, but then it's just bulky and it's kind of a pain to deal with. So I don't use the big expensive teleprompters. I use an iPad, and I use it with an app called the teleprompter app, which I can put a link for that too here. But when I'm ready to actually go live, let me see. This just sits behind my video, and I can actually just have that giving me the course script so that I can read it through. Now, I'll tell you one thing, I don't really use a teleprompter during my regular live streams. I will use it, however, if I need to have a script. So if I'm using it to record lessons for a course, for instance, or if I'm using it to record a sales video, then that's when this comes in handy. Otherwise, I really just don't need it. Oh, I do have this little Logitech C920. There's also a C922 Pro, I think, that's available, but this is my longtime friend. I've had this Logitech forever. The reason why I have that set up over here is because it gives me another option for an angle when it comes to doing my videos. And I do have a Canon T6i that you might have seen in the scene yesterday. I don't have that hooked up right now because I am not ready. I don't want to buy a super expensive lens for it yet, but it can connect as well to give me yet another angle. I just haven't invested in the lens that I need. This right here is a handy little arm that I can put my cell phone on. So if I'm doing a really quick reel or some type of short, it's really easy for me to do that. And this is my Grandma Effie, my role model, my favorite, my queen, and that who I keep in front of me to remind me of who I am every day when I do my videos. Oh, this is Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek, because I like to have little warrior women totems around me. This is my beautiful soldier from Black Panther. This is Wonder Woman, of course. And then I think you saw some of my other Wonder Woman totems as well. So these are Funko Pops, but then I have an expensive one right there. This one is a model that looks exactly like the character from the movie. I have another Wonder Woman right here, one of my first. And then I have one of the first editions of Wonder Woman, I think, right there in a protective case. And yeah, I just keep totems, like I said, around me that remind me that I am powerful and that I am positioned to be able to create video content that's going to help transform people's lives. Well, I guess that's it for my little mini tour. I just wanted to kind of give you a walkthrough of what my space looks like since you asked. And there's more to this, but I just wanted to keep it condensed as much as possible. As I was thinking through how I wanted to create this space, the most important thing to me was I want things to be simple and easy, and I want to be able to just jump in and do my lives, do my video content creation at the drop of a hat and not have to worry about making things so complicated that I won't do the video. So I hope that helps give you an understanding of my thinking process, my setup, and if you have any questions about anything else, let me know. Okay, so that was my little 17-minute walkthrough, and I saw some questions in there that I'm going to try to go back and answer. I hope that you enjoyed the little overview. Yeah, there's lots more to it, but ultimately the goal was to kind of give you an idea of how I thought through creating my space. Everybody's going to be different. The way in which you set up your studio space is going to be unique and right for you. You don't have to do what everybody else does. You don't need all the stuff, right? Yeah, Yvette, that was Yeah, I'm live, but I was showing a walkthrough video that I pre-recorded for you so I didn't have to walk around with my phone and all that other stuff. Total imposter syndrome. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, when I first started trying to figure out what I wanted, I was looking at other people's gear and I was geeking out and I was buying everything, and then I said, "Stop. You're not going to use all of these things. You're not going to use all of this gear." I literally have a closet full, which you kind of saw a little glimpse of, but I have a closet full of stuff that needs to go into a garage sale because I was buying things I really didn't need. So I really want you to think about, what do I need? You're so welcome. What do I need? What do I really need for purposes of my video and what I'm going to be creating? One of the things, and thank you so much for the compliments. I love it. And RK3, thank you. Yeah, you're right on the TS. It wasn't a CalDigit TS3. I was looking for a CalDigit TS3 and I ended up with the hub. And the reason for that at the time was I was like, I don't really need the TS3. I don't need a big boy, but I do. What we're talking about, by the way, is the hub that you saw. You barely saw because it was a little dark underneath my computer system, but it's where I was plugging in all the different plugs. I need a bigger one. So now it is time for me to go ahead and invest. And the brand that I do like is CalDigit. So thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was a little worried about putting things out here and like leaving it open for people to be judgmental about my space. But I have to tell you, I'm good with it. And I think Michelle said something earlier. I'm going to try to find your comment, Michelle. Michelle said, "Hey, you do what's right for you." And that's exactly right. I believe, yes, here it is. Love that you use what works, and it's what works for me. But I hope that this is giving you some ideas about maybe what you might want to put into your own space. I'm open to questions. So if anybody has questions on any of the things that we talked about, let me know. I'm scrolling through the comments now to make sure I don't miss anything because I know that there were several. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, CalDigit is the bomb because I tested out other brands for the ports to put in different plugs and found that not all of them work. Thank you so much. Words for Change podcast. I appreciate it. Yeah, and let me tell y'all what I did so that you know this too. Because I love my like really nice, my Sony camera. I love it. And I have a Canon T6i that I was using initially, but I used my iPhone 14 to record that entire video that you just saw. And the reason for it is because I needed an easy way to move around without having to make it complicated. Because again, the thing that I'm passionate about and what I value most is simplicity. So I hope you could see that in the way that I'm setting up my space. I'm still adding things over time and subtracting things over time too, but I'm doing it in a way that helps me to feel like, hey, this is simple. You stop, Dan. Better than cribs, really. I know. Yeah. So this comment, Jose, my biggest problem has been wanting to have everything I do not need. And that's the thing that I have gotten smarter about, because I literally have probably 6 to 10 different microphones and I use one. So why did I buy all of these mics? So I'm saying this to say, when you think about creating your own space, especially if you're looking at a limited budget, you want to take care to do a couple of things. One, don't go cheap if you think you're going to be doing this for the long term. Because if you think about it as an investment for your video studio, you want to pay for what you actually want to use and need. So I wish that I had known that early on, because I would have been, instead of trying to buy a bunch of different cheap microphones, for instance, I would have bought the one or two that I would actually use for the long term. Every time something new comes out, and I know there's been a lot of new things because Rode just had some big announcements, big announcements. And one of the things that I get a little FOMO about is, wow, maybe I could use that for the future. And you may be in the same boat. I don't know. But yeah, I try to be very intentional. I do. I try to make sure that I'm doing things in a way that honors my pocketbook. And it's also going to keep me or put me in a position to be able to look like a pro and to do really professional level work when I'm doing video. Let me make sure I turn on focus mode. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I love that. Nobody's judging your space. You're so far ahead of many. Thank you, RK3. I just want to be able to do, I want to be able to do what works for me, but also something that really showcases my brand and gives you a quality end product. That's what I want. Yeah, simplicity. It's all about, and it is because I'm definitely a Virgo. Everybody in my house, except for my husband, is a Virgo, and we are all about streamlining and simplicity. It's so hilarious. Okay, Dan, I answered the question. Okay. I do want to, I'm going to go back and try to answer some things here. But if you do have new questions, pop them in the chat. If you could do this for me, put a Q in front of your question, and that way I can scan through quickly and get them. Yeah, I know. I don't even want to talk about Rode, but they did have some masterful things popping up, and I don't need half that stuff. I know. Y'all are tripping. I know. I know. Okay, Yvette, you accidentally purchased the Rode. Yeah, I know. I know. And you do music, so hey, actually, my husband is a Sagittarius. So there's that. Okay, I'm going to work backwards and answer these questions. So Dan had a question that says, does changing the volume using Rodecaster really make a difference? It's expensive to invest if it's not really going to be used. This is what I will tell you. I honestly, I bought the Rodecaster Pro, the first version myself. I bought it and then I didn't love it. But not only did I not love it because I was using Wavelength initially, I didn't love it, but it went out on me. Like after about 2 weeks of use, it just went dead and would not turn on. I don't know. It was just a defective product. So I let it go. I sent it back and I was like, hey, I'm just going to go back to my Wavelength. But my husband actually bought me the Rodecaster Pro 2 for Christmas. And he was like, hey, if you're going to be a pro, you need to have pro stuff. Okay, fine. So I would have felt bad trying to return it, but it made me go and learn how to use it more effectively. And so I ended up signing up for the class by Take One Tech. I think his name is Alec. And so Take One Tech, I think it's .io. They have a course on Rodecaster Pro 2 because I was trying to watch and piecemeal a bunch of videos about it, and it was just all over the place, and I was not loving it. Yeah. Oops. I didn't mean to show that one. You can literally have people. Yeah. And that's the thing. The Rodecaster Pro 2, once I actually took the time to learn more about it, then I realized how effective it really is. It does a lot. Primarily, I'm using it for sound and for audio, but it can do other things too. And yeah, it can be overkill if you just need a single audio input. But think about it. When you're using, for instance, Zoom a lot and you're wanting to feed music into your stream or into your calls or meetings, now Zoom allows you more options to do that, right? But there have been a number of different, there have been some times where I felt like, okay, I need to feed different pieces of audio into this space. And if you're using Clubhouse or some type of app like that, it's great for you to be able to feed, get input in, output. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with the Rodecaster Pro, and I'm not a pro at using it. I'm going to tell you that. But one thing I can tell you from a practical standpoint, and Dan, this is for you, If you're going to be doing more video and you're anticipating doing podcasting, for me, it really improved the quality of my sound. It just did, and having the ability to have more versatility with different sound effects and all kinds of other things, that's really improved the quality of my entire space just to have this. Whereas initially I was like, "I don't need that." Now I'm like, "I need this. I need to keep this. Please don't go out on me." But I've actually had it since December, and I've been using it, just still not as well as I could. So I'm learning. I'm taking my time on it though. So look, Yvette said she's recording her music and her voice while going live and adding music beats too. And she does music with her stream on YouTube. So that definitely helps. Ah, that's funny. You don't just play with the robot voice effect. I haven't even played with that, Michelle. I know. See, now you're going to make me go and figure that out. But yeah, $700, it is a lot. So it's not a cheap piece of equipment. As a matter of fact, here's the QR code. If anybody is looking for it, yeah, it's 700 bucks right now. So there's that. But also, the Rodecaster Duo is about to come out. And this is something that was just announced at NAB. And if you go out on YouTube, you'll see a lot of videos about it. RK3, I know you were geeking out just like I was. But there is a Rodecaster Duo, so a smaller version of the Rodecaster Pro 2 is coming out, and a mini travel version is coming out. So there's options that are coming. I don't know what the price point will be for any of those, but look around. Let's see if Memorial Day actually allows these things to be released, because what I've found with all this gear that I'm showing you is that it's been better for me to purchase around the holidays. So if you need that tip, look around the holidays at Amazon, on the actual brand's website, like Rode, Blue. I'm trying to think of other ones. BH Photo Video is another spot that I go and hang out when I'm looking for things on sale and for deals around the holidays. Yeah, so there's lots of different ways. And so, yeah, John agrees. Don't buy the road stuff right now. Wait for the new stuff. Yeah. Yep. I think that it's a good idea to plan your budget. So decide what you want to spend and what you're able to spend first, and then stick with your budget, because guys, this stuff can get really expensive real fast, and you may not need all of this. This is something that I've designed over time. I didn't just go out last week and buy all this stuff and put it together. This has really taken me a few years. You kind of saw at the beginning of the video where I was showing you different spots in my house that I was like testing out. Maybe I could do it here in the dining room. Maybe I could do it here in this office that has all this clutter. Maybe I could do it in this walk-in closet. I tried all those spaces and then ended up in my family room, which nobody was using anymore until I decided I wanted to use it. And then they were all like, "Hey, maybe we can come up here and play." Right? So that's you got to look around and figure out what works in your home. Jose had a question. Are you now using only Restream? Just for purposes of this particular live, I'm using Restream in this moment. And I still like Restream as my backup. Ecamm Live is my first choice when it comes to streaming platforms, but I am using Ecamm Live typically on my Thursday show. I'm trying to go between StreamYard, Restream, and other spaces on my Tuesday show, just so that I can stay familiar with any new features and things that they're having pop up. Yes. Take One Tech is great. And he's got a great teaching style. It's really easy and simple. He makes things that are complex be a lot easier. He is doing a giveaway. So thank you for sharing that, Gabe, because I actually signed up for the giveaway earlier this week too, because it would be nice to just win a Rodecaster Duo. Okay, I promised I was going to go back through some of these different questions. I'm just trying to scan through and make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. We talked about changing the volume. Yeah, and I'm using it to make the things I want to make. That's correct. Okay. Yeah, Yvette talked about she mentioned needing a larger hard drive. Look, the more video you do, the more you also have to think about your storage. So if you have an older computer or an older system, that's something that can be a real deal breaker when it comes to video. So that is one thing I do try to keep up with is from a tech perspective is I probably will get I'll invest in another version of a Mac, probably a Mac Mini moving forward. I like my iMac, but if I had to choose right now in this moment, it would either be a Mac Mini or it probably would be a MacBook Pro because the iMac is not portable. Like I can't carry that with me. It's just a big old monitor slash computer, right? Let's see what else we got in here. Um, Thank you for the compliments. The link. Okay, so someone asked, who is this? Nerd Startup Incubator. Can you provide the link that is mounting all of those tools around the iMac? So I'll give you, I have at least one that I think I have prepared from my store. I have a lot of different arms. I believe in arms and accessories because I'll tell you the reason why. One of the things or reasons why I have arms, and hold on, I'm trying to go back and make sure that I pull that. One of the reasons why I like a lot of arms and accessories to attach different devices to my desk is because I have a sit stand desk. Okay. So my sit stand desk, when I move up, if I need to stand because the back, right, is not feeling great, or I know I need to stand throughout the day, when I lift that, I need all of my equipment to still be at the same height. And if you have certain pieces of devices and gear that are sitting on the floor, they're not going to move with your desk. So I do love my arms. So I'll give you, there's one that's called a gooseneck mount. And let me see if I can find that. So if you pop your camera up, you should be able to see the QR code there. It's only like 26 bucks. This is the mount that I was showing where I said, hey, if I just wanted to do a really quick TikTok or some type of reel or something, which I'm trying to get myself into the groove of doing more of those. But if I were to do that, I have an arm that's attached to my desk that moves with me. So if I stand, it moves up too. But that I can easily pop my iPhone into. I can just clip it, and then start recording. So it's super simple. It's cost effective. It's not super expensive. But if you go to my store at streamlikeaboss.shop, which I think I may have a link for that too. If you go there, you should be able to see, let's see where we got it. Here it is. Here's the actual Amazon link, but you can go to streamlikeaboss.shop for a really, really quick link to it. What it will do is it will share with you all of my favorite tools. So all of my gear is at the link that you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You can find a lot of the things that we just talked about and that I walked you through right here. Again, I would probably wait if you're going to make any investments in Rode products. Hold on because they have all the new stuff coming out and it looks really exciting. Yes. Okay, I'm scrolling back down to see if I can catch these. Yes, yes, Katie is the bomb. And Ecamm too. I'm actually going to be heading over to um, Creator Camp. I'm going to Creator Camp in October. That's the plan right now. So I'm waiting to see or to hear more information about it. But I was on the wait list and now I'm off the wait list and I will be attending. So I'm very excited. Yeah, and I know. So just like John is saying, you can switch your monitors from horizontal to vertical on your monitor arms. When you have arms, it opens up options for you. So when you have arms, meaning the attachments, right, that can then connect to your different devices and gear. Like one of the things that you probably noticed, and I didn't mention this, but my A6400, my Sony, I actually have that connected to an arm because again, I noticed when I had it on a tripod over a year ago, if my stand up, my sit stand desk moved up, I had to go and manually move my camera up too, and I didn't want to have to do that. So it's connected to an arm that then allows everything to move with me when I move. So I love that. You're so welcome. Yeah, if you need any other links, just holler at me. I'll be watching the comments even for the next couple of days. So if anybody's watching the replay, just pop your comment or question in here as well. Yeah, tech nerds will sell their older road stuff for cheap to get the new stuff, so you could save money that way. Very, very nice. Now, learn live streaming with John Lacey. He's going to be on my guest stage, my platform on Thursday. So I'm looking forward to having you, John, be a guest, and he's going to share some of his tips and favorite things. I know we're going to talk a little bit about OBS. I've had some questions come up about that, and he's a pro in that space. Yes, I know. So having some type of arm or a way to attach your keyboard stand. So lots and lots of ways that you can actually find um, accessories that will help you to have a more versatile set. Dan said StreamYard is the training diaper of streaming platforms. It is actually, this is where I started. StreamYard was my go-to when I first started live streaming and I wanted to look like a pro. It was StreamYard that got me kicked off. So I'm forever grateful about that. And they've got some really cool things happening in StreamYard, such as custom layouts, right? So if you don't have, for instance, a Mac, if you have a Windows PC, vMix is probably the most equivalent to Ecamm Live. There's also one that I keep hearing about that I don't know anything about called EvMux or EvMux, EV as in Victor, MUX. But StreamYard, Be Live, um, what else? Gosh, Melon app. There are a lot of different other platforms that you could potentially try out and see what works for you. So there is no right or wrong. It's what is working for me in my space with my setup. That's the question you have to kind of experiment with and explore. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. And John said the same thing about the storage. After 6 months of live streams and recordings, my poor computer needed me to move everything to network storage. Absolutely. One of the things that I have to do constantly, because I'm very conscientious about being a hoarder, both physically and in my electronics. I'm very careful and very conscientious about going and cleaning out my spaces. So I do have my own system when it comes to looking at what digital trash and junk needs to be removed from my computers. And I also have a backup that I always I use Time Machine in Mac to back up my entire space and then to also go back and clean out anything that I don't want on my systems. And that's even when I was a PC girl, I did the same thing. Let's see. I'm double checking to make sure I'm answering questions. Let's see. There were some other questions earlier on. Somebody asked about colors. And what was the color question? I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I try to be on purpose, y'all. I do. It's important to me to be very intentional about everything that I'm setting up because I want this to be a useful space. And again, I just don't want a bunch of clutter. I like things to be simple and I like the space around me so that I don't feel like I'm like claustrophobic. Okay, Stream Deck. I think someone asked about a Stream Deck question. And Dan, you mentioned that you were colorblind, so it's a big concern for you about the colors. Okay, so here's the thing. On the Stream Deck, you can actually set up the buttons, the icons, whatever way you choose. Even on the Rodecaster Pro 2, you can change the colors. But I will tell you, I don't even necessarily pay so much attention to the colors. That's why you may have seen me with the little white stickers next to each of the buttons. That was easier for me. So having, I just went to like a Walmart or something and I bought a pack of stickers that you can put in a printer. And I just wrote down like, okay, this sound effect, this is the system that I'm using for this particular dial. So I put all of those on my Rodecaster Pro 2. It just was easier for me so that I could identify things quickly. And with my aging eyes, I will tell you with the Stream Deck, one of the things I realized I needed to do is to make sure that I blow up like the text font, the text size, that font size has to be larger. Cause y'all don't want to see me in my granny glasses, although I have a pair that I keep next to me in case I need to do any reading. But I like to just make sure that everything is a proper size so that I can clearly see it as I'm going through and doing things. And plus, over time, whatever you set up, you're going to get familiar with how you've set it up. So you'll know. It's sort of like my blind dog. I have a dog. My Chihuahua is 16 years old and he has one eye and the other eye is just gone, like it's cataract filled. And they don't want to do surgery on him because he's just too old. Um, but he knows where things are in the house. If I ever took him out of the house to go anywhere else, he would not have a clue about where he's going. So for me, I kind of feel like that. Like as long as I have my buttons in the right place and I know where the buttons lead to, I'm good. If I ever switch it up major, that's going to be a problem. I have to go back and relearn it all again. Okay, I'm checking for any other questions, y'all. And if there's anything else I can help you with, somebody asked about an iPad. Yes, Nerd Startup Incubator, you asked about the iPad and the teleprompter, and Michelle also asked about the teleprompter. So there's one teleprompter that I do have, but like I said in the video, I don't use it. I'll pop it up for you though. This is the one I use, or I have, the DesView T3 teleprompter. You can put this on top of your DSLR camera. So you can go take a look at this on Amazon if you want. I have used this maybe a total of like 5 times in the last 2 years. And it can be convenient depending on your setup. For me, it's very bulky. I just don't like the bulky, in case you haven't figured that out yet. I like things to be streamlined and I like my space. And for me, the teleprompter, a lot of those tend to be just very big and bulky and take up a lot of room. So I ended up using my iPad instead. And I just have the iPad mounted behind the camera so that I can just use the teleprompter app and call it a day. So yeah, that's the DesView. I think somebody just swiped it. So let me pop it up there in case it was too fast. You can take a look at that. Someone also asked about my SmallRig Lantern. My softbox is one of my favorite purchases ever. So I'll pop that up for you as well so you can take a look. I was actually inspired. I think it was India Delgado that helped me to think about my lighting in my area too, because I felt like the key lights that I was using and the ring light were just too harsh. So when I did wear glasses, when I do choose to wear my actual glasses, I don't like that big glaring ring light, the big circle in your glasses that's glaring off. That's why I went to the key light, but even the key light still was too harsh to me. This globe, this lantern softbox was perfect. It's dimmable, completely dimmable. It has different temperatures. It gives you a really nice glow around you. So it's one of my favorites to use, and that's the reason why I purchased that. I have a graveyard full of lights that I will be probably selling at a garage sale this weekend. I've been putting things together. Okay. I think I have some new comments and questions. Let me see what else. Yes, use what works for you. Use what works for you. Thank you so much, David, for the comment. I appreciate that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Gotcha, Dan. I saw that. Oh, Shannon. Yeah. Our Chihuahuas, I think they last forever. I told everybody in the house that Charlie's going to live. He's going to outlive everyone. He has already outlived every dog we've ever had. And he, bless his heart, just walks around like he owns the place. But that's as long as he knows where he's going. if I put a box in front of him or anything else, even putting his treats in front of him, he's kind of like, is that a treat? So I have to put it right under his nose. Let's see. Yes, that light box is awesome. It's one of my favorite purchases ever. I promise you. Yeah, and that is one of the things I love about it. It is very elegant. I like elegance. I like gracefulness. I like things to be streamlined and clean. But again, this is just me. This is the way I share it with you, my back story as far as my studio and how it's set up. I hope that you were able to take some ideas away from it. And even if it's not, the ideas that I have for me aren't right for you, that's okay. But you got to find what works for you. So I am very thoughtful about what I add to the space now because I do not want to just make it, I don't want to add stuff to it for no reason. I still want to be on purpose as I do add things to it. Sometimes I like to change things up because I can get bored. But mostly, I really, at this point, love what I've created. I love how things have turned out. So I hope that you've enjoyed it too. Okay. I don't think I see any new questions in here. I'm just gonna hang for a couple of more seconds and see. Yeah, and Dan, you mentioned about the wavelength being a pain earlier. You talked about that. And that, yeah, it was a pain for me too. That's why I eventually, when I did get the Rodecaster Pro 2, I fell in love with it more than I thought I would because it made things much easier. Wavelength had its purpose and I used it for about a year and a half. And I still have it actually if anybody wants it. But I love the Rodecaster Pro 2, and I can definitely see if I were purchasing today, if I were looking for some type of switchboard, right now, I probably would wait for the new Rode line to come out to be released, and I would buy something from that line because their stuff is awesome. It's high quality and it works. And remember, I talked about investing. So think about it as an investment. If you're planning on doing long-term video, podcasting, any of that kind of stuff, invest in the space that you're creating. Don't just buy cheap and then end up having to buy again a month or two later. All right. Okay, folks. Well, that was the gist of what I had for you tonight. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. And thank you for your kind words and your comments. And thanks for sitting with me to watch the 17-minute video. I'm going to put chapters into the YouTube video in particular, but I may also try to put that into the Facebook space as well. I don't think my chapters work yet in LinkedIn. I'll have to test that out. Yes. Miss Katie, is Katie here? I can't see. I don't see her in here, but if so, what's up? You're welcome, Shannon. I appreciate you. And yeah, an extra room to set up in soon. Okay. All right. Well, holler if you need some ideas and we'll talk through it. I love it. Thank you. And John, I will see you on Thursday. So for those of you who join us on Thursday night, we always do our Stream Like a Boss live TV show on Thursdays. Sometimes I have guests. And this week I actually happen to have a wonderful guest, Learn Live Streaming with John Lacey. And so I'm super excited. John is all the way from Australia, I believe. John, I think I got that right. And so we're going to be talking about all things video, and we're going to be talking about OBS and some other things that people have questions about that are maybe not always the common talk. I think he's also going to talk about Streamdeck versus Restream, or StreamYard rather, versus Restream, because I saw a post on that I'm going to ask you some questions about. So looking forward to that, John, on Thursday night. All righty, folks. That's it. That's what I got for you. I hope that you have enjoyed tonight's overview. If you've got questions, leave them in the chat. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you once again in the stream on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll also see you next week for even more goodies. Now, last night, I was on Kirk Nugent's show. So if you haven't already seen that show, we talked about streaming systems. And I got a chance to geek out on just talking about systems for live streaming. So more of that to come. If you need the link to that, I'll make sure to put that down below in the description as well, because that was a really good one. And I highly recommend you going to watch the replay so you can hear some nuggets from Kirk. And I had a few too. All right, y'all. Have a great night. And thanks again for hanging out with me tonight. Take care. And I will see you next time in the stream.